not waste any more time. Um, I'm going to, yes. So this is that time, no need to waste time. Whoever wants to join will be joining. This is the Eurostar train. All of us have lived with the white man for some time now. We see how precise they are. They keep to time. The other day, I was traveling and the Eurostar had just very few people, but it moved exactly that time, not minding, not minding the amount of people that were there. So once again, I say you're all welcome to the Schengen family, Nigerians in Schengen zone in Europe. And this is another time to relate with ourselves, get to know ourselves, talk with ourselves, and share ideas with ourselves. It's a noble thing we're doing. It's a very, very noble and very, very resourceful event that we're doing here. So I welcome you to this edition of it, 16th of January 2021. You're welcome to the Schengen Story Virtual Town Hall meeting, where we discuss amongst ourselves and share minds, rub minds together, and also put a way forward for our progress. So thank you for coming. We appreciate your coming. And I know how much how busy we all can be in Europe. Europe is a place where every minute counts. So if you're taking your time to be with us, it's special. It's an honor, and we appreciate you. And I say thank you again for coming.
Thank you too.
Yes. Wow. Yes, a lot of friends are coming in. So to kickstart, first of all, let me explain. Schengen Story Media is a company that handles media presentation in Europe. And we are into giving the Nigerian image a positive outlook. There is a stereotype. There's how they look at us, you know. So, but the truth is there are beautiful, intelligent, dynamic, resourceful, resilient, and great people called Nigeria living in Schengen. So we are trying our best to put that narrative out in our little way. And this is one of those platforms. So once again, you're welcome. So it's a media company, and we're into the magazine, we're into news, we're into media presentations. Today is a great day because as a people from one country in Europe, we all play a significant role in the development of our lives first. Our lives first, then our home country. We all play a significant role in making sure that things go right. And one truth of the matter is there is power when we engage in purposeful dialogue. There is power, there is gain, a lot of gain when we engage in purposeful dialogue. So this is one of the reasons why we have this webinar. Our lives is in our hands. As Nigerians in Europe, our life is in our hands. Nobody can help us to change our lives. Nobody can help us but we ourselves. The politicians are doing the little they can do. But the honest truth is politicians are even a reflection of us. So waiting for politicians to get it right might take some time. But with our self-determination, we can begin to make that change that we all desire, that change. So in view of this, I want to welcome you again. Today we are discussing a lot of things. And The discussion is open. A lot of people will be joining. But before then, I want to introduce the main panelists, the people that will be more of on the discussional ground. Today, we are talking relationship goals. And the beautiful thing is, there's a lady here that rang the bell. There's a lady here that shoot out the shot, and an awareness started. It started in a group we call Nigerians in Diaspora, the NIDO group. So there's a lady here, a special lady, a friend, I call her Top Lady. Top Lady is here, and she she rang the first bell on this issue. And the issue is relationship. Recently, the term relationship goal has become something of a social phenomenon. That is, everybody is talking about it in a social way, in a guyish way. All over the world, there are issues bordering on relationship. Some of the issues are sweet, some of the dialogue, some are inflated, and some are with strange ideas. But the fact of the matter is, bad or good, relationship affects us. The real world is we all want to live in a peaceful relationship with our spouse. So it's an important issue. And it's very important that it's causing also headache for some people. It's causing problem for some families. So today we are discussing relationship. Everybody wants a perfect relationship. Nobody wants to have a dream relationship that doesn't come to pass. We all want our idea of a perfect relationship to be real. So the Nigerians in Europe also want to live happily with their spouse, with their families, peacefully like any other nationality. So how do we get on with the idea? How do we do this? How do we create intimate, beautiful, cordial relationship with our families and spouse, with ourselves? How do we love and how do we be loved? So today, this is the discussion. And, I hope you're all hearing me. And to start this discussion, I want to welcome, first of all, the person that threw the shot. The person that threw the shot, sorry, excuse me. The person that threw the shot of this discussion, and that is Top Lady Laura Ike Obi. I hope you're there. I call her Top Lady. Laura is a relationship expert here in Europe, Austria, the founder and CEO of Heart of Gold. Heart of Gold Foundation. She's also a member of NIDO, the Nigerian in Diaspora organization. So Laura, you're welcome. I'm happy to have you here. You're welcome again.
Thank you so much.
Good. Also, discussing with us is a man I call the spokesman. In every parliament, House of Parliament, there is somebody that stands and speaks on behalf of every other person. And Europe, Nigerians in Europe is having that personality. So with us, again, as our spokesman is Mazi Azu. I call him the Speaker of the House for Nigerians in Diaspora. Mazi Azu, you're welcome. Are you there?
Thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. I'm very grateful to God Almighty, and I thank you all for joining us this evening, and I look forward to the discussion. God bless.
Thank you, Mazi. With us again is know this, not what I'm going to say. Schengen Story has coordinators from each corner of Europe, each corner of Europe. What we're trying to do is build a family of Nigerians in Europe. So each corner of Europe has a representative for the Schengen family. So in Sweden is a big brother and a friend. That's Mr. John Rotimi Otenia. Mr. John Rotimi Otenia, you're welcome, sir. Now, today he's so excited about today because, like Laura, this is also his field of ministry, relationship. So Mr. John Otenia, Pastor John Otenia will be putting some light into the discussion also. You're welcome, Mr. John.
Thank you so much, sir. God bless you.
Great.
And good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Yeah, so it's going on. We have the president of the Edo Union in the UK, and that's my very good friend. He's also a contributor, somebody that has good insight to the Nigerian community. He knows what it is to be a Nigerian in Europe. That's my good friend, Mr. Andy. Mr. Andy, you're welcome. Yes, you might need to unmute. Good.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to miss this evening.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so keep still going on. I have also my sister again from the UK, a coordinator also for the Schengen family in the UK. That is Madam Juliet. Madam Juliet, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. Good. Good evening, everybody, and God bless you. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. So it's a full house. It's a full house. So please pardon us trying to please everybody. With us again is a very good friend, and yes, sorry, I have to. Okay. Yes, so we're still going on, and before I forget, before I introduce more people, I have to also put my assistant, my personal assistant in France, and that's Honorable Chuma Bomuche. Chuma, are you there? Chooks, open up.
I am here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the program. Happy to have you all around. Women, we respect you.
Thank you. And the YouTube link also is growing. So questions will be coming out from there. Every other person, I welcome you. And I'm seeing new faces and friends. So let's go on with the discussion while I also acknowledge other new people. To start, to open the light, to open the discussion, I want to give the microphone to the woman that threw the bell, the woman that raised the alarm. Bagam, 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 look at this issue. Top Lady Laura, are you there? Can you please start up for us? Unloose your mic, please. Yes, you need to unloose your mic.
All right.
Yes, better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Fine, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you, the host of this event, the Schengen Story Media person by name Massive Mark. That's what I used to know you with.
Yeah, it's okay.
I want to thank you for honoring me, making this event to be a success. I really do appreciate that. And the essence why we are here today is to really discuss what is so important to each and every one of us as regards to our homes, our marriages, what is obtainable, what we're supposed to know, and the possible way forward. All right. So I also want to welcome every other person here also that are present, and then the panelist members. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Welcome on board. So going straight further to the point or the aim where we are all gathered here. First of all, I want to start by saying the topic, which is marriage. Like I said before, that's why we are here. So first of all, I want to bring to our minds what is the meaning of marriage, what marriage is meant for us, what's supposed to be, achieved in our homes. All right. So oftentimes we all know that these are two different imperfect people coming together, to live and achieve a purpose which is being signed and sealed by God at the altar or in a law court or even by our own traditions, loving and sacrificing so many things to make our home sweet, and maybe later children will come in. But I can't really understand why our marriage, especially us living in Europe, should be based on location, why where we live has to define how our marriage should be. All right. But I am not saying that what about people that are in Nigeria that are also into one problem or the other? But my focus is actually people living, in the Western world, people living abroad. Okay? Yeah. So that's the essence why we are here. Because basically I'm that kind of person that really believe in my culture, where I come from, because these are some of the things that have shaped me as a person. And then knowing too well that God is always there for us, and that standard which God has put out for us has to be maintained and obtained. Okay, and that is how I see marriage. All right. So going further, what are the reasons why we come together? What are the reasons why we always want to put up something for ourselves in our homes? Because I believe that, I know that most people, they come into marriage for so many reasons, known to them. But I still want to stand and believe that there are reasons and the purpose why marriage is established on the surface earth. Okay? So going forward, I want to also bring to our limelight that there are things that is being expected of a man, and that's supposed to be expected of a woman in every relationship. And these are points that we have to always sing in our brain every now and then. It has to be registered in our minds every day if actually we want to really have a successful relationship. So coming to the aspect of a man, I have to say some things that the man has to bear in mind even before coming into a relationship. And for every relationship to, stand, the both parties really have to work together. All right. So acknowledging these things, man on his own have to really love himself very well. You have to really develop a relationship within yourself as a man. Acknowledge that you have that manly nature in you, understanding your hero joining as a man, okay? To be ready to pick up burdens, responsibility, ready to add value to your relationship. What do I mean by adding value to your relationship? In aspect of respect, motivation, supporting each other. These are some of the values you have to add as a man in your relationship, all right? The man also has to come from the angle of knowing that he's a male who needs to also carry burden, protect, provide for his family. Okay, you have to also, live with clarity while accepting wisdom. Okay, the case of Adam and Eve. I wouldn't want to go deep into that, but maybe with time I will be able to explain, okay? So you as a man have to really appreciate who you are. You have to see yourself first and how you can now add value to other people. Because outside all of these things, there's going to be a chaos in any relationship you want to enter as a man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so this is just the aspect of the man. And then going forward, also put up something for the woman on the other side of it. Okay. the woman on her own, needs to really know that she is there as a helper to the husband. Yeah, she has to be supportive, because I believe a marriage is all about teamwork. Relationship is about teamwork. Okay? The woman shouldn't use the Europe culture to bring your husband down or destroy your marriage, because I've seen in the past that this has been really a problem, in the Western world, where, I mean, the European culture, bringing the European culture inside of your home. Okay, because these are two cultures. You're coming from African descent, and now you're in Europe. So it is two different cultures now. So you have to really choose the one that will work for you. Because I still believe, I understand that as a mother or as a wife, you want to teach your children those of our cultures. You want to really take them back home. So what's the essence of teaching your children all those of our culture, where you, as a woman, you don't really practice them on your own? Okay, so these are some of the things I will want to add, maybe, but much later I will explain more. You
very
have
good. Very good. Thank you very much. That's a beautiful intro to the issue. Questions have begun to pour in from the YouTube section. I don't know if we will take one of the question, then we continue again. The question says, many men in Europe prefer to marry wives from Nigeria, leaving the ladies in Europe without husband. So somebody is asking that, I don't know if it's a question or a statement. So while the discussion goes on, that's something coming from the YouTube. Top lady, Laura, thank you very much. Laura Ikeopi, thank you for that intro. There's something I said from the beginning, and that thing is, the relationship goal is a priority. Is like a must for us as Nigerians. Take note that we are relating this to Nigerians living in Europe.
Yeah.
Because obviously there are factors affecting us as we live in Europe. It's not the same thing as living in Nigeria. So there are factors here. Take note of that. So we are discussing this issue relating to the factors that we find ourselves in. Factors like, for example, you don't have immediate relations around you. You don't have that clique of people that will probably be with you if you were in Nigeria. I know in Nigeria, for example, an example I'm giving now, if a woman gives birth, a Nigerian woman, the in-law, the mother-in-law, the mother, the sister-in-law, all these people come to stay with you that period of childbirth. But none of this happens here. So these are factors we find ourselves living in Europe. So think about that in the discussion. Then also, Pastor Rotimi, are you getting ready? Because I know this is your terrain. We are now in your court. So we are coming to you. Also, we are looking not only marriage, we are looking at relationship, because the interesting thing is there are young people in Europe, Nigerians in Europe, that have adopted the white man lifestyle of having boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, this is how it is.
Yes.
So it's a reality that is happening. So we cannot shy away from it. People have relationships that are not married and they are in a relationship. People also have baby mamas they are not married to and they have babies with them.
Yes.
People have baby fathers and all this. So this is it. Yes. Before we go ahead, let me please introduce my wonderful big sister. She's a great woman from the UK, Ada Bueze. Ada, when we call Ada in the east of Nigeria, it's not a small title, it's a serious title. Now with us is the Ada Bu Uzo of Ndibo, of Abia State, and that is the electric woman. Are you here? Are you here, Ma? Okay, yes, go ahead and
yes,
okay.
I am here. Good evening,
Good
ladies
to
and
see you. Now I can see you very well. I was looking from the other side. You're welcome.
Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome. Okay. So, Pastor Rotimi, let's hear from you. The issue is on ground.
Thank you so much. Good evening once again, everyone on board. Let me start on this note that our sister started by introducing what marriage is. I want to believe that we are talking about relationship between a man and a woman. Okay. Because there is something they call marriage, which is not really marriage, whether to a responsible man or a reasonable human being. For example, man to man, what is called gay is not recognized even in Africa. Not about a religion now alone, but as Africans, it's not recognized. Or a woman saying she has to go to another woman. So what we're saying in terms of marriage here is between a man and a woman. And something is, we should understand one thing, that the man needs help because he could not do it alone. And for this, he seek help to complete the process of what God has created him to do. Is not in any way, no man is ever looking for competition. That is somebody that we want to compete. And that one is very common in the advanced world. And that brings me to the question of the person who says, why is it that men goes back to Africa to go and marry in Africa and leaving the people in Europe? You find out that a lot of people see submission as, something else here, especially people who brings their husband here. You understand? People who brings their husband here, if the lady has been here before and the man now comes in to join, he believes that the headship has a change position. Yes. Because she brought him, then she has to be the head, while the man has to be the tail. So that process, I believe, is not ideal. Marriage is between two imperfect people, but they are working towards perfection.
Exactly.
What do I mean by that? Jesus was born in a manger, but he didn't remain in that manger. They got married in an imperfect state, but they don't have to remain in that imperfection, but they need to move towards perfection. Take some time to study themselves, and after they must have studied themselves, they will now begin to move towards the purpose of God for their lives. You find out that here, there are some people, in Africa, for example, when people get married, there's something is, everyone is now looking forward to the woman's tummy, to see that the tummy comes out and have a child. But here, you want to get married to somebody, he first of all give you condition. He said, we have to work for 5 years in order to work things out before we start having children. We have to work for 5 years to systemize things before we start thinking of having children. Though it does happen also among the elites now in Africa. But by and large, marriage is a place where, a house is converted into a home. That is, the woman comes in to complete the process. Thereby, the man will not be lonely anymore. But it will become disastrous when one in relationship, in marriage, still becomes lonely. That is in the case of neglect, whether the man is neglecting the woman or the woman is neglecting the man. You find out that some people, they are closer to their friends than their spouse, which shouldn't be. The closest friend a woman should have or a man should have in relationship is your spouse, first, before any other person.
Thank you very much. That beautiful intro there. That's John Otenia wrote to me from Sweden. Yes, the room is open. I really want everybody to make inputs and keep the discussion going. There's a question from the other side again. It says, why do the women, why will you have to go for DNA if you trust your wife? Somebody is writing this. Why do we have to go for DNA if we trust our wife? So whoever will ask that will ask that. Now, somebody also is sending out tips. Somebody said tips for good relationship. He said communication, growing to understand each other, intimacy, making time for each other, argue effectively, making our relationship a priority, keep dating each other. All these will make the Nigerian relationship go to work. Somebody just sent that in now.
Yeah, we are going gradually.
Yes, that's a beautiful, thank you very much. It's one Kemi from the UK. Thank you very much for that tip. Yes, the floor is open. Mazi Azu, Speaker of the House, are you there, sir? Yes, we want to hear from you. The crowd is listening, and the crowd here also is listening. Can we hear something from you? What do we do? How do we put our relationship on a marching forward gear as Nigerians in relationship? How do we avoid this unnecessary divorce? Divorce is climbing. Unnecessary infighting between couples. In fact, sometimes you have it shown out in the public. There was a clip I saw of couple fighting in Germany, and they were doing it right there in the public, not minding people videoing them. So how do Nigerians in Europe put up their homes in order and have happy marriage? Let's go ahead.
Well, basically, I wouldn't have loved to make my comment in this very powerfully composed discourse with a lot of people I'm very close with, one way or the other. But I will just say briefly, while I listen to the top people, the top women, top men, and listen to the bishops and the psychologists and social care officers here on the way forward. Basically, I think the greatest problem we're having in terms of the issues relating to African Nigerian marriage relationship, European contestations of it, is the fact that there is this disconnection between our African values, our cultural, moral links to the concepts of marriage and the relationship with regards to the definition of such within the European or the developed world, where the liberal concepts of a relationship or marriage determines how they keep their union progressing or stagnated or discontinued. One clearing factor here is that we all have to understand that either marriage or relationship is a learning curve. It's like being in an institution. Like they normally say, it's an institution. You keep learning every day. You keep adjusting yourself. You keep improving yourself. There is no perfect marriage anywhere on the earth. And you can only stay longer in your marriage or in your relationship with two key factors: patience and endurance.
Thank you very much.
Patient,
And
you can
endurance.
endure, you will survive any situations. And that has always been the pivotal um, um, value that many of our parents or our grandparents used in their own tribal relationship. And that's what the problem we have in Europe is that people cross over. And when they cross over, for instance, um, you see a marriage where the man who, when he was growing up in his home, never washed the plate, never cleaned his room, never washed his own clothes, and then never saw his probably his parents doing that. And then he comes over to Europe, marries, and then find out himself washing plates, cooking, washing clothes, and doing all sorts of things that he felt that no, I shouldn't be doing that. Why should I? You know. And then vis-a-vis also, you find women who basically lived in Africa and never cooked, doesn't even know how to cook, and then crosses over here, and then expect the man to be the cook, expect the man to be the kitchen ware. And so you find when these two conflicting um, um, characters meet, and they cannot modify their characters, their misgivings from childhood, their probably different value training from their childhood. When they meet and they cannot amend such characters or such beliefs or such understandings, you tend to see that relationship doesn't last long, doesn't stay long.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't stay long. So it's about how do we get ourselves to understand each other's background, working within our background, and being patient with each other, enduring circumstances and situations for the sake of keeping the relationship going. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Speaker of the House, Maziasu. The discussion is growing strong there, but I want us to hear from our Ada Buzo. Ada, are you there? The lioness, I want you to give us an insight to what we've been saying. Can you please put some? Yes, go ahead, man.
Thank you very much, sir. I feel privileged to be on the same platform with top guys like yourself, so I salute all of you. My name is the Lioness Adabuzon, the Abia State Electric Wine. I live here in UK. Yes, we have been talking about issues about marriages, DNA, divorce, what leads to it, and how that can be sorted out and stuff like that. Chairman, sir, you mentioned about why men prefer to marry women back home.
Yes, it's a question. Somebody asked the question.
Exactly. There are so many factors. Where I come from the eastern part of the state in Nigeria, Abia State, as you well know. Our adage say mechanic the mechanic, because of the attire, we don't know the difference between a mechanic and a mad person. You understand? So many things can lead a man to jump from Europe or from abroad or from diaspora to back home to marry. Some of them may not have experienced what it is, but they've heard and they've seen. Our African men, especially our Nigerian men, are full of ego when it comes to marriage. They have that ego as a man, as the head, which obviously they are. The Lord made them the head, over a woman. And the Bible as well. I'm a Christian, so I'm sure the Quran didn't say a woman should disrespect a man. Has made them head over us, and he said to them to love us, to love the women, and we in turn be submissive. So most men find out that some women here in Europe are not submissive, so they prefer to go back home to marry these so-called submissive ones. Sometimes they prefer to marry them and leave them at home. And most of them wouldn't dare bring them over here. That is one of the reasons that leads to DNA. You marry a beautiful woman, you've built a house for her, you've given her all these necessities, to make life comfortable, and you are here. And you only go there twice a year, or you go there highest 3 times a year, a newly married wife. How do you expect that would work? Probably you target her ovulation time, you rush and you go and you pregnant her and you come back. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. This is one of the things that leads to DNA. This is one of the things, because by the time the guy realizes it, they've got 3 children, and probably out of that 3 children, one is his, because of the distance relationship. I'm not saying it happens all the time. It is one of the contributory factors. There is a gentleman who said on Facebook that the Nigerian men buy their wife clothes, beautiful clothes. Then their Nigerian men are the ones that pull those clothes. You come, you buy a whole lot of bucks, you beautify your wife, you buy her Mercedes Jeep, and you come back. She uses that Jeep to carry another man. She uses that cloth to visit another man. So they look at us and they laugh, and they look at the men and they laugh and say, look at this one. And because they know when the men arrive, they know when the husband arrives, so they stay clear and watch that happen. It leads to divorce, it leads to DNA. Someone in America did that. Out of the 5 children, I think it was only 2 that he managed to drop in there. 3 were in his, So because of that, most men, because of probably what happens here, women are not submissive. Women take over, especially here in UK. They say, that's a lizard country where women know they respect man. You do one thing, they call police for you. So those fear, make them go to Nigeria and marry the submissive ones, do I say cheaper ones? Not cheaper really, but someone they feel that doesn't know the system. But in most cases it doesn't happen like that. You see, the ones that dare it and bring their wives here, the ones they bring even turn out to be the most troublesome ones. They now want to practice those things they've been hearing at home. They now want to see that if it will work, take everything the man has worked for and call the police. Obviously, when a man and woman call the police here in Europe, the police will answer the woman's side and rush and tell the man to leave the house. So these are the things we need to consider. Sometimes the women come over here and they see that, oh, those luxuries are not here. The guy may be living in just one small bedroom apartment, managing his life. Meanwhile, he has given you a very big compound back home. You've got a bookie, you've got a kite, you've got all those things, washman, you've got gate man, you've got children, everything working out for you. Meanwhile, coming over here, you discover it's not like that. A gentleman in my community here brought the wife after 8 years with 2 girls, 2 children. And the wife was like, really? Is this one what you want me to come and suffer? The man said, but this is how I've been managing to fend for you whilst you were back home. There is no other Europe more than what you're seeing. So the lady grew angry and left him and disappeared. And sort of he started getting trouble and making trouble where there's no trouble, just an excuse to run away. So we need to be careful. Going back home to marry may not be the best option because it worked for Mr. A, might not necessarily mean it will work for Mr. B. We talked about things that could cause divorce in marriages involving our relations in matters. It can cause breakage in relationship. When you have a little problem, you go and tell your mom, Mama, come and hear. You see what my husband said? That one will call you. If I were you, I would not take it. Now lie. Do not involve your parents in whatever happens between you and your husband, except that your parents are God-fearing. There was some who tell you the truth. My dear daughter, you're not doing it right. You know, if your husband comes in and he wants sex from you, give it to him. Do not give one excuse or the other. Every day you've got, if you don't have headache today, you have cramps tomorrow, you have body pain next tomorrow. That is not the best way to go about it. Whereas some mother will say, hey, what does he want you to do? Don't mind him, Jerry. By the time you apply that wrong advice, man, you are a goner. You know, so there are some people may not be their parents, but maybe friends. Adobe, if I were you, now life, now that person no go do am. I've seen some, they will keep their own marriages, even take more rubbish inside the marriage, but they will advise you otherwise. They will tell you that, if I were you, that man, not never. If I were you, as lioness as you call yourself, you take rubbish from a man. Oh, this is not lioness matter. You have to be submissive. You have to do the right thing. You have to do the right thing. Most of us here work 24-hour shift. We use that as an excuse, knowing that intimacy between husband and wife constitutes, at least 60% of the marriage. Today you give one excuse, tomorrow you are menstruating, the other day you got headache, one other day you're tired, the other day you have early morning shift. There are people out there who want what you have. They're ready to manage the road for you. So if you give excuse and you drive your husband or your man into the wrong hand, you have yourself to blame as well. So goes for men. Some men, use culture not to do the right thing to their wives. You understand? They'll tell you, oh, I'm a nze, I'm a chief, so I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And the woman finds the driver doing it sharply and, satisfying her. Those are the things we need to ask ourselves, and we need to advise ourselves. You don't do, whatever you do with your husband in the bedroom is not, Big Brother is not carrying it. If your wife is the one that like you to do it one certain way, don't go and tell me you are a red cap man, you are a chief man, and you will not do it. And the poor man will be wallowing in some women are circumcised, so it takes them time to come. There is a certain things that you have to do for them to be able to come. But we use to religion, they fast. I'm gonna leave religion. Whatever you need to do to satisfy your wife, do it. Again, some of us, we tush when our husband, when our boyfriend come for us. Once some women are married, you see them tied apart 24 hours. You see them, they won't even bath for 2 days. Those things we used to do to entice the guy, we now feel we are married, so you degenerate too. Meanwhile, secretary in the office is looking sharp every day. No. So little things. It may not be you don't know how to cook. It may not, just little things we need to do to keep up our marriage, especially if you know the kind of person you're marrying. You understand? If your husband is only a meme like me, like outgoing person, and every day sometimes he wants to go out with you, you give excuse. He wants to go out with you. No, get ready. Let's go to somewhere. You give excuse. I'm working tomorrow morning. You go, let's make up. Your guy will go to street B and carry somebody who is ready. So we need to step up, both the men and the women. Let me end it here. I'm sure there are some other people who want to say one thing or the other. Thank you.
You're not ending it. You're putting it on pause because we still need your voice. You have
Electric woman.
Electric woman, you have
She has said it all.
you have broken the camel's back.
She has said it all.
Yes, go ahead.
Electric woman, I'm watching you with one side of the eye.
Oh, sorry, my
I'm
wife.
watching you with one side of the eye. Electric woman.
Lara, you want to say something? Laura, what lady?
No, the Ada Musa, she has really, hammered it to the extent that I don't even know what to say again. she added everything, at the same time, But
okay, there's a question from the YouTube side again. It says people forget tradition and copy European marriage style, which does not work for us as Nigerians. So what will you say about that? Andy, you're there. Let's hear you too. Laura, I want you to say something about that too.
Yeah, like I said previously, where I was saying, how do you combine the two? We have the African culture and then the European culture. And then we are coming from the African culture. I don't know how we want to teach our children our culture. And then coming to Europe, we want to adapt to the European culture. And the two cannot work together. That's my stand on this. So I think it is much better for us to dwell on that our African culture, which we are brought up with. And then this will also help our homes, though there are certain areas that I am not comfortable with in our culture as well. So, but all of these things, really need to be addressed. Okay, so that's just what I want to add to this particular question that you just threw to me right now.
Very good, thank you very much. In our midst is a lady that is very dear to me. Evelyn, I hope you're open.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Very good. Okay. Evelyn is a mother of 3 grown-up children, and she's also the Nigerian president in Ferrara. Ferrara is the central part of Italy. Now, why I want her to make an input is because she's been into this whole thing, relationship. She takes care of girls, Nigerian girls that have just come in from the waters into Europe, and she finds herself advising them on how to go about relationship and all these things. So Evelyn, can you put up some voice to this?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, honorable ladies and gentlemen. I've listened to so many of you. First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Massive Schengen Story Media, for honoring me to this great meeting. I'm so glad. You've already introduced me, but I will still go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Arom Evelyn. By God's grace, I'm still the president of Nigerian Association Ferrara, Italy. My view, I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Please, let's pardon her. She's in the hospital working now. So her video might not be visible. She can't put on an image.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. It has not happened before. This is the first time. So pardon me, everyone.
Yes.
I've listened to Honorable John Rorotimi. He said what he said is also very, very interesting. It's not all marriage that is marriage. And he also stated that gay marriage is not really marriage. And in the YouTube, you see some people getting married to animals. Those ones are not really counted as marriage. So when we are looking at marriage specifically, we should also know that there are essential facts about marriage, especially the Christian marriage, which I believe that many of us here will know about. For me, my view about this marriage is that as long as God is the creator of marriage, and he has already ordained us to go ahead to get married, but we still have to take a look at the scripture in Genesis 2, chapter 24, where it is written that, therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Looking at the marriage in Europe today, many of us are not really acting to that scripture. We are not really acting to it, but I cannot blame everybody because we all find ourselves in one situation or the other. if you look at the society, I'm not talking about only Africa, I'm talking about also generally, this immigrating from one culture to the other has really made the marriage to be defined in different perspectives. So everybody wants to create his or her own style of marriage, but it shouldn't be so. We should also try and keep that of our culture, we that are from Africa, just like what our sister said, the lioness of Adabuzo, Ndi Abia. I greet you, ma. I heard everything you said, just like everyone was saying that you have concluded everything. One thing I noted of what you said is this, concerning men going to Nigeria to go, or to Africa to go and get married and bring their wife here. I cannot say I'm not in support of it, because depends on where you wear your shoe, where it's paining you when you put on your shoe, is how you will not react to adjust the shoe. But why is it that many people always look at this aspect of women not being submissive, women not respecting their husband? Are we bothered to ask what's really happened? Nobody is asking what really happened. What about the men? Nobody's talking about the men. If you look at the girl child today, the parents take time to train their girl child. But what about the men? Who is talking to the men? Who is talking to the men? Is it only the girl child that you're going to train? What if you train your girl child where nobody is praying for evil, and he gets to, marriage is like a package. He gets to open this package and find out that does not correspond with the way she was brought up at home. So I believe that our children, before going to marriage, we should try to educate them very well on, because it's not everybody that is married that is having children. Because if you look at what is going around the world now, there are so many single mothers. So according to what the Bible wrote, that you should cleave and become one flesh. And now if you have children, you can train them because you are together. But when you are not together, you are living a separate apartment, and your wife is living with your child in a separate apartment. How do you train this child? What kind of marriage are you going to teach this child? How do you mentor this child, whether it's a boy or a girl, when you are not in marriage? So this thing continue to happen in most of the generations today. A woman will be taking care of. Me, I'm not in support for only a woman to take the responsibility of bringing up a child. I am not in support, because by so doing, it's only an intelligent child that will go on his own to learn from other broken marriage and a good marriage. But when the child is not intelligent to learn from others, what happens? We continue to have a society with so many single father and single mother, which I'm not in support of it. So let us take a look at the reason why people are complaining about women. I want to tell this honorable house, it's not only women is the problem of marriage or breakup or divorce. It is at times, it's also from the fault of the man. When a woman has tried all her best to keep her marriage and the man is not helping matters, what do you expect? Divorce will come up, because nobody will want to die for marriage, because Jesus Christ have already died for us. Why should you die for the other person? So to me, and another thing again, marriage should not be based on sex and only love. It should be based on this understanding. If you don't understand, if a young girl is meeting a man today, the man should be able to tell she the truth of his life and what future he is planning to, even though he has not achieved it now, but at least he should be able to write and draw the future. If the girl likes it, he will say, okay, no problem, I'm coming with you in this marriage, we'll work it together. But when a man is not truthful, like those ones that go to Nigeria to go and marry wife, don't they have girlfriends here? When you are not truthful, the one in Nigeria comes to find out that you have a white wife here, or you have a woman that have children for you, which you did not say, definitely she will start playing games with you. And what happened? Divorce will take place. And what do you want your children to learn from it? Nothing. There's nothing good to write about it. So to me, I will advise us before going to marriage, I'm talking about young couples, because if you look at this Europe now or America or London, there are so many single mothers around, and the thing is really getting me pissed off. It is not their fault. I cannot start blaming all the girls, because many men are fond of even pregnating up to 6 women, which the number one might not know, the number two might not know, the number three might not know. And all these women will now become single mothers with different we say up to 6 to 7 children from one man. It's not good. So I want to tell our parents, we should start teaching even our main children how to go about this thing of marriage, not only the girl child. For me, number one, basically, it should be based on trust and being truthful. And the two should understand themselves. Not only, both should respect themselves. It's not only the woman. When we talk about only the men, fine, because just like what our mommy said, he said that the men, they have this ego, especially from the African culture. They want you to respect them. But don't forget, a woman can only respect if you live up to your responsibility. When you don't live up to your responsibility, how do you want to gain that respect? When you treat her like a piece of rubbish, you don't treat her like your queen, how do you want to gain that respect? When you don't talk to her, you make her your slave at home. You talk to other people that you think they matter to you. You make her feel that she's nothing before the decimal point. How do she respect you? Maybe you can do it with those ignorant ones and get away with it, but you can't do it with somebody who is wise and somebody who has been educated or who has traveled. You can't do it with them. For me, let us be tolerant to each other, and everyday talking is very important in marriage.
Communication.
And like we all know, marriage is not for 3, it's for 2. If you say you are married, you should be able to trust your husband or your wife. Tell them everything about you, what they should know, not outsiders will know about you. One lady called me here in Italy and told me that she lost her husband and somebody is owing her husband money, but she doesn't really know the amount and the man is denying it. If the man has trusted the wife and told the wife everything, the woman would have been able to boldly go to the man and tell the man, give me my husband money. But because the man did not trust the wife, he gave her his money to a stranger. When he died, leaving 3 to 4 children at home, I don't really know how many children they are. He has left that woman in a very difficult condition and with so much pain and sorrow. For the woman to be bringing up these children all alone, knowing that the husband have a certain amount of money there that either the family of the man don't want to release, or the best friend of the man don't want to release, or the meeting where the man secretly went to join himself without telling the wife don't want to release. So a sharp woman, if she find that, definitely she will not respect you, because at first you did not trust her and you make her your wife. So what are we saying here? Let us talk about good marriage, because there are so many bad marriages existing on earth today. And if I were to be the government, I would have said they should even make marriage as a subject in school, so that at least our people should learn a little bit knowledge concerning marriage before they start choosing their spouse and start doing the talking and be going into marriage. To me, this is my own view. I don't,
Thank
for
you
now,
very
I
much.
think I should
Beautiful
stop here.
view. Beautiful view, Evelyn. Thank you. That's
You're
Evelyn
welcome, sir.
along from Ferrara. And while she was speaking, somebody wrote a question to you, Evelyn, but I don't know if you have that time. Somebody said, African parents are shy to talk about sex and marriage in their homes. So we say, what do you say about that? You say African parents are shy.
This is a very good question, because my daughter asked me the same question too. She just asked me last week when I showed her the post. I said, oh, Mr. Massey, I should come and talk about marriage. I want exactly what the person asked. That's exactly the question my daughter asked me. And my reply was that the place where we were brought up, because we don't really know much about European marriage. We know much about what our parents have taught us. That is the reason why I said that it would be better if they start making marriage a subject in school. so that at least we should have a minimum knowledge of it. We cannot tell our children what exactly at that tender age. We always believe that sending them to school, maybe the school will be able to enlighten them on it. How can I start describing? I don't even know how to say it on this platform.
Okay.
Telling my children all the secrets.
Yeah.
I can tell you about marriage. Excuse
Yeah.
me, Mr. Massive. I can tell you about marriage. I can tell you what you can come through. But at that age of 14, 15, I can't just be telling you about sex, because that is one of the basic things of marriage, and that is what the children want to hear.
Okay, thank
Because
you
when
very
they go
much.
to school, when they start asking their question, they start looking like doormats. I've not heard this one before. What is really happening?
Thank you, Madam Evelyn. I don't want to. There's somebody here that is very, very is a close friend from Australia. He had to. The time in Australia is midnight. It's early morning, 4 o'clock in Australia now. But this man had to stay awake, be with us, because he's also a Schengen story coordinator in Australia. So I welcome my friend Philip, Honorable Philip. Are you there? I know your eyes are sleepy. Are you ready to go to work? Honorable Phillips, we are discussing the marriage issue. With me and you were talking about last time. Can you please put small light to what the discussion? If you're a father, you're a married man, and you're there far away in another world. So say something, sir. Go ahead. You need to unmute your phone. Yes.
Mute, yeah. All right, man. It's a pleasure to join this forum. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you.
It's past 6 in the morning. I'm all set to go to work. I just thought I'll join in for a little bit before I leave for work. Look, I suppose our views are different. Marriage in the Western world has become almost disposable, very disposable if you look at what's happening, rate of divorce and stuff like that. But then again, if you look at marriage where we come from, the things that our parents, our moms, our both parties, the things that they put up with from both sides. And I have to be honest, especially the women, the things that the women put up with from the men, people can't put up with that in the Western world. And I suppose that's why marriage is as disposable as it is. A lot of people, when you come here, when you look at the whole thing, in my opinion, and you see how people live, there are a lot of people who, and I'm pretty sure you guys will probably have all examples, in your life of people who married, who are in families where there are more than 2 wives, 3 wives, 4 wives, and it's hard for there to be in those sort of families, there's always self-interest.
I covered this Schengen.
People will be forced to put their own self-interest rather than collective interest, first. And here in the Western world, people are more inclined to put on their own first self-interest. If they're not happy, why should they be in that marriage? And you got to look at it. Then it does make sense. Otherwise, what's the point in being in a marriage if you're not happy, living a miserable life? So that's my sort of opinion. And whether we teach this in school, I don't know what difference it will make, because I think Nigeria's got more problem than having to put marriage as a topic in school. We don't even teach, enough about being a good citizen. Talk about the teaching marriage in school. I don't think will solve any marital issues in Nigeria. And when it comes to the last question somebody asked was about the issue of discussing sex education or whatever with the kids and stuff, with our kids and stuff. It's definitely not an easy discussion to have. I've got a 10-year-old boy, and I think about 2 years ago, I was forced to have some discussion with him in relation to that. Not in depth, but there are books that are available to teach kids about these things. They need to know. And in schools, in schools here, I should say, they have, just the periphery of those sort of discussion, just not in detail, but at least the kids know the basics, like what not to allow people do to them, what not to accept. My 10-year-old boy now, when he's in the bathroom or in his room, he wants to change, he shuts the door and tells me to go out. Those sort of things. They know boundaries. They know to respect boundaries, and they know to expect people to give them that space. I think it's a start. So it's a discussion you have to have. It's not a discussion we're comfortable with. Nobody had that discussion with me, and I'm pretty sure for most of us that are on this forum now, nobody had that discussion with us. Whether it would have made a difference, who knows? But it's a world where if you don't have the discussions with your kids, they'll find somewhere else to have that discussion, and it's not good. In most cases, it won't be the best place for them to say that discussion will be had in a different sort of probably not one that will be very beneficial to them in a sense. So yeah, those are my own personal views with when it comes to bringing kids up and stuff like that. Marriage is it should be shouldn't be a union of convenience. It should be a union of two people. Two people are involved, and two people should learn to work with each other. The men should give as much respect to the women as much as they expect from the women. That's the only way it works. Women are starting to smart up to to their values and to what and it's not how do I put this? It's not um it's not uncommon for you to have women these days wanting more from relationship or more respect in the home, and so they are entitled to it. So it's what's good for the goose should be good for the gander too, like they say. So it should be a 50-50 thing, in my opinion. So, where we come from, men tend to rule the roost. They want to be lord over everything. But it could work in some certain places, but most times now, I don't think such thing work anymore, because it should be 50-50 as that's the way it should be. So that's my own little opinion and contribution to this discussion.
That's not, it's not little at all. Beautiful opinion. Thank you very much. That's Philip from Australia, the other side of the world. And he took out his time to be with us. Thank you so much. There is write-ups coming up from different corners from the YouTube, and also on the page here, somebody is saying whether we don't teach our children, whether we don't make your children to be friends, you will not be able to get them and freely discuss the topic with them. Okay, so what you're saying is we need to have that friendly relationship with the children so that the discussion can be easy to put out. Okay, questions are rolling out, but hands are also coming up. Juliet, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes, I see your hands have been going up all the while. Go ahead, Juliet.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. Philip, thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so everybody's spoken very well. I just want to chip in, not that there is any wrong thing that has been said. Everybody's talking about culture and what have you, and I begin to ask myself, is marriage not just one institution? Because apparently the culture of the white man or African culture where I come from might vary, or as a matter of fact, most times vary. So is there a kind of marriage meant for the white person or the Western world, and a kind of marriage meant for those of us who are from Africa and all that? But I try to listen to everybody first and try not to make this sound quite religious. But who is the creator of marriage. God instituted that institution. No culture instituted it. And that is why if you're an African man, you've come from a background or a culture where you can't imagine yourself washing plates. When you come here, this is what it is. The Bible calls us helpmate. Wife is busy picking the kids, probably you're making the meal. But when you begin to put cultural orientation, you know, the man, it doesn't happen where I come from. And that is why we need to get back to the scriptures to really understand this institution that has been instituted by God himself. There is no, sorry to say, but there is no, until we get back to the scriptures, there is no amount of somebody's philosophy, ideology, the white men are teaching that. If you tell them talk about marriage, they tell you there's marriage between a man and a man and a woman and a woman. But we all know on this platform, we're talking about marriage between an adult man and an adult woman. So let's get back to the scriptures. Let's get back to what marriage is. Why did God institute it? What is it for? And that is why, you know, a lot of people diverge into marriages. You know, when the foundation is wrong, the wall is going to crack at some point. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it's going to crack if the foundation is not love, because the Bible says love covereth all things, even in that weakness of the man, even in that weakness of the woman. You know, when the foundation is wrong, some people get into marriage, maybe that guy was so rich and all of a sudden things have turned the other way around. That is when problems start coming. Some people get into marriage, probably, oh, she has such a very beautiful face, spotless with dimples. And maybe by the time one is turning 50, had children, the tummy is dropping and the person is looking very rugged. And there's problem now. So whatever the issue may be, my brothers and sisters, I really think that it's knowing what God has said about marriage. And the Bible says two cannot work together unless they agree. Amos 3:3. When you and your partner, husband, you cannot work together. If your husband is eating sand in UK, you join him. You are ready to eat sand and make it together. If he's living a flamboyant life and you want to live a flamboyant, you are ready to, like a sister was talking about communicating. Yes, you're ready to flow with him. My husband, my wife, word. It's a vision. Every marriage should have a vision. Where are we heading to in this marriage, in this relationship? Is it for better I stay, for worse I go? Don't get me wrong, when there is domestic violence and stuff like that, and it's only there because these two people have not put Jesus Christ in the marriage. Either one person or either of the two, or however. And that's why these things come up. Ordinarily, there is no way a man should be abusing the woman domestically, or there's no way a woman should be opening her mouth and insulting the husband, no matter what. The Bible says the love covereth all things. So like I said, I don't want to sound so religious, but fortunately, that is what marriage is. It's in the scriptures. Then to talk about teaching our children sex education, you know, yes, we shy away from it because of our background, but come on, we need to wake up. You know, like my brother that just spoke, even if it's a little basic, because somebody in school is going to teach them. That thing we're shying away from teaching them, somebody will teach them. You know, so it's the little basics, is the little, come on, let's talk about it. Teach your girl child the physiology of a girl's body, teach the boy and all that. When they go there and say, oh, look, that's your on your chest, look, it's becoming bumpy. Just, oh, don't worry about it. Mom has already told me about it. You know? Oh, the boy, oh, look, what is that on your face? Is that hair, or your voice is beginning to cry? Oh, don't you worry. And again, because the foundation is a Christian principle or home, let me put it that way. You know, the Bible says in Proverbs, teach a child the way he should grow. When he grows, he will not depart from it. The system we are living in is so corrupt that our kids spend 80% of the time outside of us. So what am I trying to say? Whatever the system is teaching them out there, we need to triple it. We need to put triple effort to begin to teach them. So just to summarize my point, you know, I just want us to really consider marriage from a Christian perspective, what God instituted, or from my brothers who are of the Quran perspective, what the holy books teach and what God himself instituted. Because anybody can teach you anything. Anybody can bring the idea. Anybody can bring the philosophy. But what marriage is one. It's one institution. I don't care which culture you're coming from. It's one institution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Juliet, our coordinator from the UK. Hands are going up, and I'm so happy to have you all making wonderful contributions and putting great light. Believe me, there will be a turnaround in our generation. There will be a turnaround in our generation because an awareness is on all of us, and we are going to impact it to our children. Now that will make an impact in the existence of human being, because like what Juliet just said, talking to our children, our time, nobody did this to us, you know? So we grew up with that world of anything about sex is taboo, don't talk. Don't do. And a lot of us made mistakes. A lot of us did so many wrong. So we are changing the narrative for our generation, and it's beautiful. It's also beautiful that you're all talking great. You're talking sensible and insightful. Yes, let's go ahead. Philip, do you still want to say something before you go? Philip, I see your hand. Let's allow Philip say something because he's way back. Yes, go ahead, Philip.
I actually just got in the car and I'm about to drive up. Just from what the sister just before said about excuse me about I think what I get from what she was saying about the submissiveness of women to men. Look, in my opinion, it was good maybe it was good. It's good for the men. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love for a woman to be completely submissive and do whatever I ask of her and all of that thing. But that's not the basis for a good marriage, a good relationship, you know. So she said something like, the women pick up things after they look after their. So excuse me. So what if this woman is earning $500,000 a year compared to the man's $100,000 a year? So she should still be completely submissive. She should do her work, earn more money, and still be second fiddle to the man.
Yes.
I don't think that is the way it should be. And let's not take the Bible wrongly. The Bible says, of course, the two have to be in the same, or the same sort of mindset for things to work. It should be a union of equal opportunities in my opinion, because I wouldn't want my child. I've got a daughter. I wouldn't want my daughter to go to a man's house and be second fiddle. They should plan. They should be at the same level. That's the way things work best. And yes, the people, as a Christian, I would say marriage is instituted by God, or that Christian, whatever. What about the man that does not believe in God? What about people of other religion? Who instituted marriage for them? Cultures, there's no one marriage for white people and one marriage for black people, and especially for us. For most of us, we're outside of Nigeria. Our culture, we do bring our culture with us where we go, what we've learned, what we've grown up with. We take it with us wherever we go, and it influences our decisions. It influences our relationship. It influences everything in our life. What we need to do, especially if I'm married to a white woman, I'm married to an Australian woman, what we try to do, and there are clashes because of background, because of the culture and what I believe in and what she believes in, is different. Most of us grew up with our fathers, philandering, they've got our mom at home and then they have girlfriends, move around. It was okay. The culture accepts it. But is that the right thing to do? Is that what we should keep accepting? I don't think so. There are better options, like, marriage between a man and woman should be between them, and they should be able to, it should be a 50-50, sort of relationship. It works better that way, in my opinion. Different stroke for different folks, they say. But, I think we should come to a place where, everything in our life should not be detected by solely everything that we read from the Bible. I'm a Christian, don't get me wrong, but a little bit of common sense goes a long way too. So just my reaction to the last speaker's thing. Nothing, but Well done, sister. Good talk.
Thank you so much. But let me clarify something about
Yeah.
submissive. If I ever mentioned it, I'm sorry, coordinator, because I always want to be understood rather than misunderstood. Yes, when I can't remember mentioning that anyway, but if I did, I am
Sister Juliet.
I am I bought what you said. Submissiveness in this case does not mean slavery. Nobody will want anybody's daughter to be battered or made second fiddle. God forbid. We're all meant to bring out the best in us, male or female. Nobody's going to anybody's man to be tramped upon or not to bring out that is in the inside of you, my brother. So probably if I've put that across wrongly, I do apologize, but that was not what I meant.
You didn't. You didn't.
Okay. So yes, the discussion is still going on. Victor from Germany is here with us, a coordinator for Schengen in Germany. Victor, you're coming late, but at least you're here. We are happy to see you. Yes, put something to what is going on, the discussion.
Yeah, I apologize for coming in late, brother and sisters. I'm pleased to be back here again and to be part of this discussion. Well, like you rightly said, unfortunately, I didn't catch the beginning of this discussion. But from what I can understand, indication is that most of the vital points in marriage has been touched, have been enumerated, if not fully analyzed. The point is that marriage institution, like I was telling a friend some time ago, that it's a very serious business. It's not a thing that you jump in and then jump out of. You have to be fully ready for it and know the reason why you're going in there. A lot of us, go into it for one motive or the other, sometimes for the wrong reasons, like because, like my sister said, or was it the other brother, because you saw a guy, having a lot of money and can afford to spend, dance to your tune, whatever you demand is prepared to give it to you. But when it comes to, getting married, when you're fully into that institution, that's when you realize that it's not the same as courtship, or it's not the same as dating each other. Then you start to see faults in each other, or maybe by the time the woman start getting older, or when the guy start getting older, the thing is, marriage, like I said, demands a lot. So if you marry a woman, for example, for the reasons of her beauty, by the time that beauty starts fading away, maybe she doesn't have manners. By the time that beauty starts fading away, it is actually the manners, the character that keeps both parties going. But whereby character is not there, you start seeing faults, you start seeing things that you weren't seeing when you were dating. So it's likely that, such foundation would eventually get crumbled. Or for example, maybe because of the fact that, you think the guy is rich and then you decide to go into the marriage for the purpose of, what you're going to get out of it. Like I said, for different wrong reasons. But if you take somebody for who they are and decide to say, well, come what may, I'm marrying this person because, I have the affection for him or her. Come what may, I'm prepared to stick with whatever comes. I think, that marriage is bound to succeed. And secondly, we should actually teach our children. It should be part of, educating the kids while they're growing up, to have respect for each other. Nobody's envisaging, or nobody's suggesting that a woman should be a slave to the man at home. But if we learn to respect each other, I think, that mutual respect is there, marriages are bound to succeed, So That's my take on it.
That's great take. Great take. Intelligent speaking, everybody. Intelligent speaking. Nigerians in Europe are not what they think they are. Intelligent people are out here. People with wits and people with great sense of doing things, orderliness, and also cordial friendship. That's what we are. I'm so impressed with everybody's output here. Yes, Laura, you're the woman with the big bell. You rang this bell. Yes, let's hear you again. You rang this bell and the bell is ringing around the world.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's really ringing around the world. And
yes, totally.
If we can make it a movement, because a lot of things are happening in the Western world, and which is not supposed to be. We are coming from somewhere, and there's a reason why we're in the West, okay? To gather things here and go back to Africa and see how we can also build Africa and bring all our experiences and what we have learned, in the West, bringing it back to the people in Africa, all right? So what I'm trying to add to what other people have said, in this regard, is that there are certain things, like I've listed in the beginning, the things that a man's supposed to be aware of, what he's supposed to know as a man, what he's supposed to do as a man in a home, and then coming down also to what a woman's supposed to also, be aware of. I mean, her responsibility, what she's supposed to know as a wife or as a mother. And if all of these things are put in place, I don't see why there should be a divorce, okay? Because I believe that even before they start something, they plan to come together. They have already agreed on something, or maybe one way or the other, something happened and they happen to come together. But even at that, there should be like a table, drawing their plan, how their future will look like, how their marriage will look like. And if they were able to meet up and agree within themselves that they are ready to work on this particular plans, I don't see why there should be a problem along the line, okay? So like I always say that, like somebody said something to do with respect and submission, that's in the aspect of the woman, okay? Because if we as women are able to know the things, know our boundaries, know what we should do in our home, I don't see how a man will want to go contrary to all of those things. I don't see why a man will not love that particular woman in that home, okay? So, and then I really want to a little bit go deeper into, the aspect of respect. Respect simply means when you have regards, honor that man, prefer him, notice him. You have to be fond of him, admire his wisdom, his character, value his opinions, consider his needs and values at all times. Okay, give him listening ears. I think this is what respect's supposed to mean and what it meant for me. And then on the other side, okay, you have to love your husband. You see him as an imperfect man that doesn't know it all. And that is why you're coming into that relationship. That's why you're coming into that marriage. Okay, fulfilling that that's a God's given thing of, fulfilling your sexual relationship, as both of you desires, is also a very important point that most men, they don't joke with it. Okay, but women don't really understand it in this way. A man always wants to unwind, however you see it. So if you deny him, definitely he will want to go outside to get all those stuffs. That is just the basic truth about it. And then coming to submission, they always use submission, and these words, women get mad at it. When you say submission, a woman is already thrown apart. She doesn't want to hear that word. But it's just as easy as ABC. It's very easy. You may use another word as, to replace submission. Submission means in this way, some people are like a humiliation, or they are sort of being blindly, obedience, okay? And then men also use it as a yardstick to bring the woman down, which is not supposed to be. Submission means for me is agreeing to your opinion, which you have arrived at a certain point, accepting your decisions. That is what I mean by submission. And then the respect comes inside of it. Okay, if all of these things are being placed in our home, and then women being aware of it, I don't see where there should be a problem. And then make sure there is a communication where you communicate deeply, not just on the surface. Communicate very deeply. These are two different words that, we don't really understand it. All right, so this is just a little few I just want to, add up to what people have said. We should not use European culture to destroy our homes or bring our husbands down. It is very important because there is a reason why you're joining that man. There's a purpose for you, both of you coming together as one. Let us just work with that. This will really help us to make our homes the better place. And the man should also make sure that he plays his role. I have mentioned this in the beginning. If all these things are placed, placed well, I don't see where there should be a case of divorce. I don't see where there should be issues of, abuse, because everyone is working really very well on his or her own lane and trying to make sure that marriage works. Okay, because marriage is a teamwork. It has to be both partners making it to, perfect it. Outside that, I'm not sure we're going to get a better marriage. That is just all I want to add. And then coming to divorce, and there's something that we've not really mentioned that has to do with DNA and DNA. It's part of us today. We've not really gone into that.
Yes, we are going to have, with the turnout today from all angles, this webinar will come on 3 series. So we will come again next Saturday. And,
all right.
Because yes, the questions from the YouTube is pouring in, and I've not been able to also say it out to you people. So we're coming again next Saturday. Then next Saturday might be on the DNA part of it.
Okay.
Is it okay to begin test your child? Go for blood tests and all these things because you are not sure of your child. Doesn't it sound strange? Yeah. Doesn't it sound strange that humanity has come to this now? Men looking for DNA and women looking for DNA. Okay. Thank you so much.
Finally,
Laura.
In the aspect of the divorce, I will also want us, if time permits us, instead of talking about divorce, I will want us to really go deep into the causes of divorce, because this will also help us to really know why there are divorce, why it's on the increase in Western world. This will really help to reduce it. This will really, not reducing, stopping it even, so that everyone will be aware or know why it shouldn't be. Okay, so this is just what I want to add up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lady Laura Ikyobi. Yes. John Rotimi, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I only gave an introduction,
okay,
but I want to say something here at the moment. We've been talking of respect and submission. Please, men in the house, permit me to say that respect is not being purchased. It is being earned.
Yeah.
When you respect yourself,
yes,
very true,
your spouse will respect you.
Yes.
But for a man who refuses to respect himself, will not be respected by anyone.
Exactly.
That is one. And I want to quickly say that if only marriage can be seen as a profession, I tell you, we will try to learn before we go into it. Every profession in life, you see that people go and study. But how many people care to read a book about marriage before going into it?
Mm-hmm.
We all make one mistake or the other. So, Pastor, my brother Mark, would you allow me to say something about the book? Or you will help me to introduce that later and I pay for the introduction?
Yes. Let me, because of time, let me say this.
Let me quickly just say this.
Okay.
Love forgives.
Okay then.
And when love forgives, it means that even before your spouse does anything, you would have forgiven that person before any offense is committed.
Okay.
And when the scripture says the man should leave the father and the mother, it's not only the man that needs to leave. The woman also needs to leave the father and the mother so that they will be able to join. If one does not leave and the other leaves, there will still be a problem. So if anything happens and you carry phone and call mama, that woman is a girl. It's not matured enough. Or that man calling a friend and discussing your marriage is not mature for marriage at all. So I want to say that love forgives and we should live. So we need to learn to train our children, whether or not we like it, not leaving it to our female children, but our male also. By the grace of God, I know what I'm talking about because I've trained children who are married and they all also have children. By the grace of God, I'm a grandfather. And two of my children and two of my sons are even on the line. One is on the Facebook and the other one is on the Zoom with us.
Yes.
So I know what I'm talking about. So tolerance is what marriage requires, and we can't do without it. So let me just say this, that divorce is not proper. And while I say that, I want to say that the older the wine,
the sweeter
it becomes. The longer you are with your spouse, the more you get to know yourselves.
Yes.
So I want to say that we should not look for fault, because if we look for fault in marriage, there are lots of them. But that is why love covers the multitude of sin. Yes. By so doing, the one you love, the mistake he makes becomes a model. So please, if only we can realize that what God joined together, he wants it to be there perpetually and permanently and not to be separated. Because when the man separates from the woman, the part of that man remains in that woman forever. And the part of that woman remains forever in that man. And there are a lot of trouble outside there, and we don't need to cause more. But we need to work hand in hand. I wouldn't say hand in glove, for us to see that we bring the problems that in the world, we bring solution to the problem in the world. God bless us.
Thank you very much. That's Rotimi Otenia from Sweden.
Sorry, I asked you a question about my book.
No, don't worry. Rotimi has a book on the ideal marriage.
And the subtitle is Building a Healthy Home.
So maybe next time I will project it. Now there's a good comment coming in. I'm seeing here. He said, "Don't marry because others are getting married. Get married when you are mentally ready, for it is that is how you can be emotionally draining." Yes, that's a good comment. So a lot of people jump into marriage because peer pressure or village people say, you don't old, you need to marry, and they are mentally not prepared for that.
Sure.
We are talking more on marriage, but I don't want us to stay the whole day here. I know you all have your activities and your other programs for the day. We don't want to have everybody in one place tied up and not able to do other things. So what we're doing is we're putting this in segments. We're coming back again next week. We have 260 people following us in all the corners, Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, 260.
I was only been thinking of you the last year. I was meant to send you.
What we'll do is we will come back next Saturday on more on this issue. Top Lady Laura, you lead the battle cry with Adabuzo. You're all going to be involved. We are discussing divorce. We are discussing the DNA issue and more. Also, I want you to know that we appreciate what we're doing here. What we're doing here is not a joke. We are not just coming here because we have Zoom and our phones are open to using Zoom. We are here because this is our life. This is us, Nigerians in the diaspora, Nigerians in Europe. And an awareness is going on now, an awareness of a change in the status quo, a change in how things are done. So a change will also come in our marital life, a change will come in our relationships, and we are marching to a better ground. So with this, I want to say thank you all for coming today. Thank you so much for taking your time, taking your data, taking your everything to be in this webinar, special webinar on relationship goal. So I leave my assistant in France to take it from here as we bring it to a close. Go ahead, Chuma.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your presence. This is a very sensitive topic. that touch every one of us. As we go back to reflect on this for the second coming next Saturday, I want us to please let us reflect very well on what we are talking about. Tomorrow is big, and that tomorrow starts today. Tomorrow never exists. It is today we have that we call tomorrow. Let us reprogram ourselves very well and understand that for peace to reign in a home, there must be understanding. And for us to have a very good marriage, I believe any man that needs it must continue to chase his wife every day and not be like a Nigerian politician that says, can you campaign after winning election? Thank you for being here. Thank you for your contributions. We look forward to seeing you again on Saturday. And please, don't come alone. Come with 2-3 people, and let those 2-3 people come with another 2-3 people. Let's make Nigeria great. Let's make ourselves great. Let's build a very good home for our children and ourselves. Thank you once more. Schengen Story Media, carrying along the positive side of Nigeria for the goodness of all people. Thank you very much. God bless you. Happy weekend.
Amen.
Evelyn, please, we'll continue next week. I know your hands have been up. You've been putting your hands up. Please forgive us.
Yeah.
We don't want to take everybody's time.
No problem. I just want to let you know that by next week, if we're going to talk about DNA test, let us also talk about single mothers.
Okay.
It's very important.
Great. That's a beautiful part too. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Top lady Laura.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Let's see. So I'll call you. We'll talk on the phone. I'll tell you some other things.
Okay.
Yes.
And please next time allow other people to also make contribution. I mean the people on the platform as well.
Yeah,
please.
Many people they won't open their phone. But anyway, we'll continue next week.
Okay.
Adabuzo.
I hail her. I hail you. Adabuzo.
I wish everyone good night.
Okay, ma. Good
Thank
night.
you, my people. It was a very good discussion.
Yes, it was a good one. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam. I expect you to be here again next Saturday, and when you're coming, I know you will bring in some more powerful people that will help educate us more.
I didn't know I'm allowed to bring people. Yeah,
you can bring in a community.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
So I can share the link.
Yes, you're free to share the link, please.
Oh, okay.
Once you get it, share it to the groups you belong to, because all we want is to see Nigerians come together. Since we are in Europe, we are advanced and we are matured. We can easily deliberate. You can see how it goes. It's very organized.
Oh,
We have our mind and people understand us. Let us help and build a good relationship between us. We need each other.
Problem.
Thank you so much, madam.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Mr. Sunny, thank you very much for coming, but you came late. Sunny, yes, let me open your phone or unmute your phone.
That's the one they
joining.
People are still coming on board.
Yes, people are still coming.
My God.
Mr. Sunny, thank you. You came late.
Yes, I was able to join you because I told Pastor Rotimi that I'll be joining late because I didn't realize there would be a program for the day. I only got to know about it very late.
Okay, we're coming back next week, sir. So please, we'd love to hear from you also.
I'm calling from London. Thank you.
Yes. I'll send the link to Pastor Rotimi, and he will send to you. Thank you for coming, though. Thank you very much. We appreciate taking your time to be with us.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And please, when you get the link, please try and share also. We thank you so much.
Victor.
Okay.
How are you?
God bless.
Quarantine is over.
Yeah, it's over, bro.
It's over. Good.
Oh, may I take my leave now? Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
All right then.
Laura, God bless you.